Unfortunately, yeah, the whiteboard is pretty blank, so it's not going to be useful for us to do anything on the whiteboard for now until we get power back on. Yeah, we just have to wait for the guys that are in charge of whatever it is that they're doing there. However, as we're talking about transfer duty now, just to touch on a few points that I may have missed, just remembered. So the value of supply will 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 be based on when transfer duties are paid or when transfer has been effected. So that would be the value of supply. So and you also obviously have to think about like why would it be based on when transfer is made or when transfer is effected or when transfer duties have been paid. That would likely mean if there's transfer duties being paid or whatever, or transfer has been effected, it basically means that transfer has changed from next person to the next and transfer duties have been paid. So obviously if transfer duties have been paid, that obviously means that there was no VAT because transfer duty arises as a result of there not having been like VAT output. So just remember that where there's transfer duty, there will likely not have been VAT output from the seller side of things. So that would be the time of supply, where there was no VAT. Time of supply would be based on when transfer duty has been paid on when transfer has been effected is the actual terminology used. Obviously, as to the time of supply of a normal transaction, everything just falls back into normal principles because obviously if you're dealing with two VAT vendors, we would not be looking at, the requirements for second-hand goods because it would have likely not been second-hand. It can be second-hand, sorry about that. It can be second-hand as long as we've got like, it can be second-hand and you can still recognize like normal VAT within the second-hand fixed property being transacted between two vendors. We touched on that point, which was pretty made obvious with the goods example as well. So yeah, that's what we need to be very careful of. And when we're dealing with transfer fixed property, so transfer duty plays a crucial role. I know there's something that I'm likely not touching on so far as fixed property. However, you just need to be mindful about that principle. And the normal rules would also be applicable so far as all other things if you're dealing with a second-hand fixed property, and yeah, all the other principles would be normal, having to obviously charge at the lower of cost or open market value. Just bring those principles in as well. And yeah, I mean, like, what more is there on fixed property? But it's a topic which becomes a lot more interesting, especially when we're talking about transfer duties, taking part. It becomes so interesting. There's so much that can happen, so much. And you can also get a situation where you've got a property which is partly residential, which makes it an exempt supply, and partly commercial, which makes it obviously a taxable supply. So you'd likely wonder as to whether we basically would apportion, things there. But now in that situation, SARS would likely, during my year of studies, SARS was not allowing that to happen, they would actually say that overrides, because the highest transfer duty rate at that time was 13%, versus 14%. So I would imagine now transfer duties could likely be higher than that, which is sitting at 15%. I'm not sure, because they used to increase by a percent each year. So if that's the case, I would think that maybe this rule would likely have changed, and SARS would suddenly have said, no, transfer duty like overrides, So I don't know. In the mixed use property, I do not know. That's basically a better research I've got to do, or something that you would likely know about since you're a current student. So yeah, I mean, that's where we are. But like again, don't get thrown off or get tricked off by also being tricked in being given all these scenarios. Then next thing you're given like a brand new fixed property, then you start applying second-hand like rules to that. You obviously get thrown off. Just so there are fine lines to really be looking out for. Examiners are very tricky in the way that they obviously pose some of those questions to students. So just be cautious, as you're in an exam room, reading through the background information, trying to make sense of relationships and principles that are popping up at you. So just apply your principles and take a back seat and just interact with the actual situation. And another principle that, if indeed you could maybe also think about, is where there's transfer duties and VAT being claimed, the rates would likely not be the same as well, because VAT is obviously sitting at a fixed rate of 15% currently speaking, and transfer duties will obviously be dependent on the value of the actual property that you're dealing with, or the actual fixed property that you're dealing with as well. So those are things that will also be have to look out for as well. So yeah, but we'll get into more sessions, and like we'll just do 1 or 2 examples and just to strike this one home, and we'll take it from there. And hopefully things have made sense. I hope this actual chat has not been too wasteful on your side. I think there could be some useful points to actually like take away from the actual chat that I've basically just put forth. I hope so. Alright then.